Hey everybody, this is Blake here, and welcome to my review of nothing. Wow, I'm sorry about that. I'm so used to starting off my videos that way that it's become almost instinctive. Oh, wow. I began this video with kind of an amusing moment when it was intended to be a downer. That is total tone whiplash, Blake. Okay, so moving on to why I'm making this video. I might have to retire critiquing the critics, and not just that, I actually might have to retire all of my web shows that require extensive production work. So the ones where I write scripts, edit footage, do retakes, voiceovers, and so on. So that would include, Kick-Ass of Awesome, Guidelines Not Sucking at Video Reviewing, and even though I doubt I'd get to it anytime soon, although I eventually had planned on doing so, Creepy Bald Guy Reviews, and I was planning on even starting a new web show that I don't think I'm going to be able to get to anymore. Pretty much anything except my vlogs and maybe review memoirs. Now, why is this? God, where do I even start? Well, if you watch my vlogs, a couple of weeks ago I was saying how I had started production on Critiquing the Critics. That was true. Not only that, I'd also started production on a Kick-Ass of Awesome episode. For some reason, it seems like these days I prefer doing two projects at once, so I don't get tired of one. So, for example, if I get burnt out on talking about Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear, which was to be my next Kick-Ass of Awesome episode, then I can go to talking about, Zenith Will Rule, who's supposed to be the next Critiquing the Critics episode. And I'd gotten pretty far on my Critiquing the Critics episode in terms of filming. I'd already written the script. I was really proud of it. I'd even begun to assemble clips and, edit certain parts. And then with the Kick-Ass of Awesome episode, I had it totally written and filmed. I hadn't started editing, though. But then I started looking over the footage for my Kick-Ass of Awesome episode, and it sucked. I seemed totally uninterested in what I was saying. All the funny parts really fell flat, which confused me because I was really proud of the jokes I had conceived for that video. So I just figured, well, okay, maybe my heart wasn't totally into it. I'll just have to retake it, redo all of this footage later. So then I went to my Critiquing the Critics episode and, watched that footage for the first time, and suddenly, it just, I realized it was just as bad, if not worse. I really wasn't sure why, because, sometimes when I've written stuff in the past, I write jokes that could be funny if they were done by a much better on-screen performer than I am, but because they aren't, I have to either cut them out or rewrite them. But this wasn't the case. This was all stuff that I should have been able to do perfectly. So I really started thinking about, why this wasn't working, why this footage was all very flat and dull and boring, even by my standards. And I eventually realized that my current living situation just does not really, support my video review ambitions, and I'll explain what I mean there. So when you watch a Critiquing the Critics episode or any of my scripted episodes, the location you're seeing is actually at my mother's place. She's always lived pretty close by, and it seems like where she sets up her computer, where I plug in my webcam, that's always the most appealing location to use within my grasp, because this is my place, the place you see right now, and I think it's kind of a bland background. This is a very small room, so I can't really set up a poster in the background like I was doing at my mother's place. So I just don't like how it looks. But my mother moved in April, and I knew this was coming, and it didn't really bother me too much because I was planning on moving myself in August, so I figure, well, she now lives too far away for me to go visit every day to work on an episode, so I might as well just do an episode or two here. Then when I move, hopefully I'll have a better location to work with. So that's what I started doing. But the problem is these walls are very thin, and I have multiple roommates, and because our schedules are so messed up, often the time when I'd be filming critiquing the critics is when they're trying to sleep, or in the middle of sleep and are about to wake up. So before, when I was working at 8 p.m., I'd get home between 1 and 4 a.m., go to sleep almost immediately, wake up around 1 or 2, then start filming between 3 and 5, and that was perfect. But now I work a lot later, so I'm not even waking up until like 3 something. So, I don't really get a chance to start filming until 4:30 after I do all of my, I'll just say, daily chores. So after that, it's almost too late. So I still tried filming anyway. But even the parts where I wasn't really yelling or sounding incredibly intense, people would hear what I was saying. In fact, that's also why my vlogs have been coming out later. Lately it seems like I don't get any time to film until Sunday, because everybody else is in the house and trying to sleep, whereas Sundays, for some reason, it's empty enough for me at least to do that. Plus it only takes 15 minutes or so, so even if they do hear me, I'm not intruding on their lifestyle for too long, whereas when I film critiquing the critics, I spend a couple hours a day. So obviously that's a problem, but I think what really's killed it is the reason why I seem so uninterested and boring is because I'm very conscious about how loud I'm being, because they often do hear me, and occasionally they'll tease me for something I say, which I don't care about, but when they are trying to sleep, I have that in the back of my mind whenever I'm filming something. So I sounded too much like I was trying to be quiet, and I was just restricting my personality to where it just didn't work. I mean, I'm not the most colorful on-screen performer anyway, so when I'm trying to hold back so I'm not disrupting their own sleep schedule, I'm then super incredibly boring then. So the question is, what should I do? Well, I do plan on moving out in August, so presumably then I'd be able to film more then. That was also my train of thought, because, as annoying as it is, people can wait. If you're a fan of mine, then you're used to waiting for months before, a new episode comes out. But the fact of the matter is, I don't really know where I'm going to move. I plan on doing an apartment, one that's small enough that I could afford, but I don't know what the walls are going to be like over there. If I'm going to have people, living on every side of me and on, above me and so on. So that could even be worse, because at least as it is, they might get pissed off and annoyed with me, but yeah, I'm not going to have to worry about being evicted or anything. So if that is the case, then unfortunately that's pretty much it, unless I move again, and I don't plan on moving after this move in the immediate future. I love doing video reviews, but not to the point where I'm going to let it interfere with every other aspect of my life. So that leads to the big question of, well, what now? Do I just retire all of my web shows, say goodbye, thank you all for your support, and move on, and hope that you continue to support me in case I'm ever able to return to, critiquing the critics and all my other various web shows? Because I also plan on continuing doing the vlogs, even if it ends up being a couple days after, the movie comes out and I've seen it. Well, there are a few options. The first is, well, like I said, I retire. The second is, I just wait until I move, and then if the place ends up being a good place for me to film critiquing the critics episodes, or if I move close enough to where my mother lives, which I highly doubt, then I could film over at her place again. Because one of the nice things at her house, it's very spacious, and she doesn't hear me from where she watches TV. so I can go all out there. But that is still a possibility, albeit an unlikely one. And then we'll just have to see from there. Another option is I try to do critiquing the critics episodes, and that will probably be all I could do. Every once in a while, I might throw in a Kick-Ass of Awesome episode, but beyond that, don't expect anything else. But I'm talking, I'd be filming 10, 15 minutes a day, which is like one line of dialogue from my review, because I become such a perfectionist. This isn't like back when I first started, when I can get an episode out every week. That's because I only spent like an hour or two total on filming and editing those videos, whereas now I constantly do retakes to make sure I'm doing the best that I possibly can. And yeah, so 10-15 minutes is generally one line of dialogue if I am lucky. So I might get 1 or 2 episodes out a year, but at least I'm always working on them. Although God, the continuity is going to be all sorts of screwed up for those episodes. My hair will be totally shaved one moment, and then it'll be like slowly growing every shot. That'll be weird, but if that's what you guys want, I'll definitely consider doing that. The third option is I move to a written review format. Now, this won't be like, when I do review memoirs episodes, I'll often just post the original scripts with the videos so you could read if you're interested in that kind of thing. No, I'd take the script and rewrite it, re-edit it, and reformat it so that it fits a written review format. So there will be pictures of the Triforce, maybe some Photoshop pictures that might boost a joke or two. That would be intended to be a more comedic written review, but at the same time I'll include all of the information. So there will be a certain degree of work put into that. It won't even be like my movie reviews where you're often seeing walls of text. I plan on breaking it off a little bit more with more pictures and maybe even a little bit of footage here or there. But that at least then I could continue releasing episodes just in a written review format. Now, you might not like that, and there's a fourth option where I'll do written reviews when I don't feel inspired to do a video review, but I'll also, if I can do it, I'll continue to mix it up. So there are some written reviews, some video reviews. Often that will be based on how much the material relies on my performance. So, for example, my review of Game Dude, I haven't written it or anything, but I have, taken a lot of notes, and I know what I want to do for that video. Well, I think that will probably require, me to do more acting in front of the camera, for me to do everything that I want to do in regards to that video. Whereas with, Zenith Will Rule, for example, I can go either way. I could work as a video review or it could work as a written review, because the jokes, are more in what I am saying and less, it's more what I am saying and not how I am saying it. But also, if like Zenith Will Rule, for example, requested himself to me, or requested me to review him, sorry about that. So if he'd rather me do a video review, then I just had to put that project off to the side until I can get to it. Whereas if I did a written review of him, it'll be out within a week or so. So yeah, if that's what you think I should do in order to keep things coming out while, at the same time, just that's it. I'll have things coming out even though they're not video reviews. Then it's up to you when it comes to certain reviewers. If you request me to review you, or I just happen to talk to you enough anyway, to where even if you don't request yourself, you end up becoming a subject for this season or the next season. Then I'll let you choose between whether you want a quicker written review, so at least you know my feelings and so on, and hopefully that will be entertaining too, or if you want to wait a while longer and get a video review, once again, if I can even do that. So let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry that I kind of started to ramble during the last part of this video. I feel like I'm losing my voice. But yeah, this is a bummer because I don't want to retire critiquing the critics or kick ass of awesome. I want to continue making video review shows. In fact, if anything, I'm becoming more tired of doing written movie reviews, which is why you haven't seen as many of those lately. So it's frustrating when when I feel inspiration hit me, when I really want to start working on, the current or next episode, and yet I can't because everybody's trying to sleep, and I'll just keep them up. It's video reviewing blue balls. So yeah, I really don't like this, but unfortunately, I might not have a choice. So let me know what you guys think. I apologize for all of this. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter because if I end up doing written reviews, that's how you'll know when they're released, unless you check out my website every day. So be sure to do that, and I'll also include news as to what's going on in regards to when I will be able to get to do video reviews, if I can do them at all. So yeah, I do all that. I did a written review of Hostel 2, and my next one will probably be either a re-upload of the 1960s Batman movie or a Category 3 Hong Kong flick called Daughter of Darkness. So check that out too, and I'll see you guys later.